jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Big salute to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-side official. No negotiation needed. Period. You already know who the first in the building. Carlos Rosado. WCS salute. Hottest chat in the MFing game. Salute to you, man. I see you in the building. No doubt. I said this before, but Bud making history alone gets him Fight of the Year award, in my opinion. Yes, we're going to check this out. You know what I'm saying? Well said. Shout out to the OG Mr. Golden on deck. Salute to you, man. What's good, man? How you living? How everything been going? You know, we getting closer and closer to close out this year, of course. And I don't want the focus to shift at any given time about what's actually going on. You know, I spoke to the higher ups and I told them the only vote that matters is simply WCS's. I said, I made this decision days ago and I still haven't seen an official, no negotiation needed, period. I haven't seen an official cover with Terence Crawford on it yet. That's Fight of the Year. USA. Yes, it's a USA year. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the award being presented, this is coming from the US of A. The reason why is that simply he earned it. He did everything he was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? We can't sit up here and talk about the volume of fights, knowing that when you get to those middle divisions, you have fighters fighting once or twice a year. You know what I'm saying? We have to look at fighters that's over here in the U.S. that's fighting that type of opposition. I'm not saying fighters that's fighting in their own country all the time are somewhat scared or somewhat hiding something. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I'm just curious. It just piques my interest. Like, I'm curious. You know what I'm saying? Why don't they tend to come over here? And people say, well, if you got Stephen Fulton going over there to Japan to fight him, he didn't make him come over here. Yeah, because, you know, they was offering him more money than he probably ever made in his career. You know what I'm saying? So he had no problem going over there. And then they'll tell you that in the lighter weight division, such as bantamweight 118, super bantamweight 122, a lot of them are not U.S. fighters. That's what they'll tell you. That's what they're going to tell you. But it's not hardly any one group of people. I'm talking about 30. Let's just put a 30, a community of boxing fans that's going to tell you exactly who Inoue fought. You know what I'm saying? They can't break it down as to how he went about his undisputed run at 118. All they want to look at is, oh, he's Japanese. They don't really know nothing about the Japanese culture. They don't. They don't know nothing about Japanese culture. They don't know how to even greet a Japanese in the morning time. Ohayo gozaimasu. You know, I mean, yeah, I've been over there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Or if you want to break it down just a little bit more and say, "What's up, Genki desu ka?" Yeah, you know, I mean, even to say thank you. You know what I'm saying? Just to give them common courtesy. Domo arigato gozaimasu. Domo arigato gozaimasu. You know, they don't know nothing about the culture, but they want to sit up here and say, "Oh man, he has a cool name, Monster." Monster. Well, I was thinking to myself. I said, the U.S. fans are all about, trying to manipulate the thought process, trying to pollute the innocent, especially the casual boxing fans that really don't know all the propaganda that's put out over here, all the race betas and shit. They don't know too much. They just listen in, and then some of them, they're pretty strong minded, and the other ones, they get swept. They get swept away with the current. And what I found out is that if you have a popular fighter like Crawford, whether it's popular in a good way or a bad way, these individuals that don't support him, they will support the other fighter to make it seem like more people are saying the same thing about Crawford in a bad way, so he won't get this award. And you really can't put race into it because it don't have anything to do with race unless Crawford doesn't get it. You can't put Crawford supporters, because all Crawford supporters don't speak for him. They don't speak for one another. You know what I'm saying? But hands down, point blank, period, when it comes to the pound for pound list, when it comes to fighting a fighter on the pound for pound list, it doesn't even come close. Really, it doesn't even come close. We're talking about a fighter in Errol Spence that had the machine behind him. Errol Spence had the machine behind him, y'all. You know what I'm saying? He had the machine behind him. And when it came down to it, the night he was supposed to, perform at the best of his ability and maximize that machine, that support that machine was pushing. Because let me tell you, if Errol Spence could have won on July 29th, things would be different. Real talk, it would have been different. But unfortunate for, that circumstance, I don't want to revisit. They say, hey, when you have crime scenes like that, don't revisit them too much. So I'm just going to leave that alone. But all I'm saying is, due to the nature of the build-up, nobody was looking for Inoue and Tapales. Nobody was looking for that. They just heard it was going to happen, after Christmas. Nobody was looking for that fight. You know what I'm saying? People get up here and act like they love Inoue. You know what I'm saying? Japanese are some very friendly people. Like, not so much the old heads. You got to get to know the old heads. The ones that's, like in the U.S., the old heads, not so much. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking from an experience where military presence was there back in the day. But overall, man, I love the Japanese, man. Real talk. But that doesn't have anything with my selection process when it comes down to understanding and knowing that the magnitude of Crawford Spence fight outweighs that of Inoue. So when it comes down to people who are posting these flyers, it's no comparison. It's no juxtapose. It's none of that. It's no comparison to two-time undisputed, the first one to do it. You know what I'm saying? They don't have somebody to say, oh, in the Olympics, when you come in a cool second, they like the way you looked. You know what I'm saying? They like the way you look. You was the more popular runner, but you didn't come in first. They're not going to tell them to stand on the podium where the gold medalist is supposed to stand when they got silver. You know what I'm saying? The first to do it. We're not just talking about the fight. We're talking about the first to do it. The first. The F-erst. First to become two-time undisputed. That's recognition. You know what I'm saying? That's recognition in itself. Lifelong recognition. The first to do it. The first to do it. This was against the fighter who had the machine behind him. He had a lot of people that put money and invested time and believing that he can go in there and take care of the smaller, brittle, undeveloped, you know what I'm saying, mediocre, subpar competition. Don't have no power. Spence can knock out everybody he's fought in the welterweight division. The man couldn't get no credit, as if he had a 500 FICO score. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't get no credit. No matter how many videos you pull up. Let's take a look at this film. I don't want to look at that shit. He has 10 straight stops. Man, who he fought? Who he fought? He ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. And then, you know, to hear a coach and a fighter feel the same, you know what I'm saying? To have that fighter understand that when him and Crawford first faced off, you know what I'm saying? Just a casual face off. And the fight was no close to being made, but they had a face off. And how big Spence looked compared to Crawford. And what people were saying that, oh man, it's no way. It's no way. The way Spence fight, his come forward style, there's no way that Crawford's beating him, man. This is just no way. You know, Spence too big for him. He's too big, he's too powerful. But see, one thing they don't try to visualize is that they have to make weight. You're talking about how big somebody is in between fights, not to include how undisciplined he was in between fights. And the fact that he has to drop weight. The same way when we was in Beverly Hills and they faced off. And I heard people on here talking about, you know, Terence looked like Spence's little brother. Well, last time I checked, goddamn it, his little brother beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was a top bunk, lower bunk type of situation that was going on. If you want to talk about family, but I'm pretty sure after that fight, Spence was on the top bunk for sure. I'm just saying, if we talking about big bro, little bro, you know what I'm saying? I'm just putting it out there. People was up there laughing. They was bragging how big Spence was at the weigh-in. Once again, not visualizing that they have to balance the scales at the required weight limit. It's amazing how they'll just look at a moment and say, oh, he looked too big, he looked too big. But he still got to make weight, though. And then we found out that was going to be extremely difficult, but it happened. You know what I'm saying? We didn't want him not to make weight, because then those titles wouldn't have been on the line, and they would have been talking about, well, you know what I'm saying? Titles wasn't on the line, only for Bud, so it really didn't have, you know what I'm saying? It didn't have the climax that we wanted. Well, we see two undefeated fighters. We talk about Inoue having more divisions than Crawford, which he has done. Salute to him. You know what I'm saying? He has more divisions. Then people want to look at the time factor. You know what I'm saying? How are you going to favor one fighter than the next? And they look at how quickly. So they always tell you, just because you can finish a job quicker than the next man doesn't mean you did a thorough job. You know what I'm saying? Just because you was able to do it quickly doesn't mean it's quality. No one's going to convince me, you know, that his bantamweight undisputed run was something that need to be marveled or something like that. Yeah, I respect it. I do. I respect it. Just like people criticize Crawford for fighting Julius Ndongo. They didn't respect Ndongo because, once again, he wasn't a popular name. But Ndongo was undefeated when he fought him. He was undefeated, bro. Should we go back? He was undefeated when he fought him. Should we go back right quick? Let me show you something right quick. Paul Butler, who he fought, you know what I'm saying, for the final WBO title, his undisputed was 34-2. Nonito Donaire, when he fought, I'm talking about Inoue fighting him for the WBC. A guy he had fought before and went the distance. He was 42-6. Oh my God, people was gonna say that he was. I'm just telling you what's out there. That's all I'm saying. I'm just telling you what's out there. All right? I'm just telling you what is out there. So, much respect to him when he finally stepped in there and fought for the WBA title. You know what I'm saying? At 118. He fought Jamie McDonald. He was 29-2-1. 29-2-1. I'm just putting some names out there. That's all. I wonder who has Jamie McDonald, the fighter that's on their favorite fighter list in boxing. I don't know. But once again, they're gonna criticize Crawford when he initially did it, and because Julius Ndongo was nobody special. That's what they're gonna tell you. You know what I'm saying? But thanks to Jamie McDonald, right? Here's a fighter that fought Inoue back in May of 2018, and he had one other fight after that, and he hasn't fought since. I'm just putting this information out there. You know what I'm saying? Because that was the first fight Inoue had moving up to the bantamweight division. So he fought a guy that was seasoned and had one stoppage, which came from Inoue, and he had one other fight after that, and didn't fight no more. I'm just putting it out there that's how that worked. And then when it came down to Emmanuel Rodriguez, I like Emmanuel Rodriguez, man. You know what I'm saying? He fought him for the IBF. He was 19-0. I respect Emmanuel Rodriguez. I met him once or twice. Rodriguez down 3 times in the second round, no doubt. And then the rest is what I told you. You know what I'm saying? Nonito Donaire, a much older fighter, definitely a legend of the sport. He went into the 12th round like UD. Then he fought Jason Maloney. You know what I'm saying? This is after he beat Emmanuel Rodriguez and Jamie McDonald. He fought Jason Maloney, KO'd him in 12. And then he had another defense. And then he revisited Nonito Donaire because they sent him, after he went the distance, they sent him over there to fight Nordine Bali, who picked up the title fighting for a vacant against Rashid Warren. I was actually at that fight. So he went in there and beat Nordine Bali and came back over to face Inoue. And this time, Inoue knocked him out in the second round. So he unifies and picks up the WBC title. And then he fights Paul Butler. Okay, Paul Butler, as you know, what went on with Jose Casimiro and everything with that, the back and forth that was going on between him, his camp, and Rachel Donaire and all that back and forth, mumbo jumbo. You know, it's boxing. You know, it's boxing at the end of the day. But Paul Butler ended up, stepping in, getting his shot to face Inoue. And the whole point I'm trying to make is that he wasn't, one that was knocking people out or going in there winning those fights. He went up there damn near like a default. You know what I'm saying? Like he got his opportunity due to Casimiro's situation that he didn't want to follow through with. So then, he unifies for undisputed. Okay, whatever. He moves up to super bantamweight, faces Stephen Fulton after a brief, layoff because it was an injury, and then they finally made it happen. Stephen Fulton looked the worst I ever seen him look. I don't know if he took the orders or not. He just, he looked bad, man. I just never seen Stephen Fulton. Looking at him fight Angelo Leo, looking at him fight Luis Neri. Not Luis Neri. Brandon Figueroa. He just, in my opinion, he was a much better fighter that stepped in there with Inoue. He was a much better fighter, bro. Ain't nobody gonna tell me different. He's a much better fighter than what he did. And then, of course, Marlon Tapales, man. We already know he beat MJ. And the wild part about it is that he won the titles, and then, bam, immediately they have to go up there and fight. He gets stopped. A Filipino fighter, Marlon Tapales, goes up there and fight Inoue, and he's stopped in the 10th round. So no one know who Tapales is like they did Errol Spence. No one knows Stephen Fulton like they do Errol Spence. No one knows. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can come in second, no doubt about it. But what's gonna happen when Alexander Usyk if he beats Tyson Fury? That means since they doing it in 2024, that's gonna probably get him, unless somebody do something crazy, that might potentially get him fight of the year. And they're fighting early semester 2024. Real talk. They'll be quick to throw Usyk on there as fight of the year, bro. That's if he beats Fury and become undisputed, the third man to become undisputed. They're gonna treat it like he was the first. But anyway, back to the topic. We all know it's no debate that it's only one nominee. You know what I'm saying? It's only one nominee that should be awarded officially, because WCS has already approved the paperwork and everything and submitted it up to the higher ups. I don't know why they're taking their time about it. It's only one name that should be deemed fighter of the year in 2023. All the data analysis, all the we're using D words, the domination, the destruction. You know what I'm saying? All that played out on July 29th. He did what he had to do. He did it the way it was supposed to be done. Nobody can say he went in there and just hung out or played it safe and all that shit that we see going on with all these cats that say they the greatest. You know what I'm saying? He went in there and destroyed the man. An undefeated fighter, an Olympian. You know what I'm saying? Last time I checked, was Crawford an Olympian? Did he even get to go and contend on the Olympics? I'm not talking about the Gary Russell stuff. I'm just saying. I'm just get your sensories together. You know, I'm just saying. Did he have that accolade that we can brag about? I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? I can't brag about that. But all the data analysis points to the one that is proving himself, the one that doesn't need to be the most popular fighter in the sport, but hands down, point blank, period, right about it, that he should be fighter of the year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Not the guy to the left. Fighter of the year 2023. It doesn't get any clearer. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't get any clear. Put it in your conscience. And all y'all that love, writing anonymous submissions and stuff like that, submit up to the higher ups and let them know, hey, time is of the essence, and go ahead and submit that out to the general public and make it official that Terence Crawford is fighter of the year. It's no competition, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to continue to run this across the haters that's out there like a razor. I don't want to continue to squeeze lemons into that, that little cut that's bothering you because you felt that being a hater is something that was cool. No. We need to understand that we need to do more to get this information out there about Terence Crawford being fighter of the year and what he did to be in the conversation of fighter of the year. Not only is he a killer, you know what I'm saying, but he's an Omaha monster that's took down the guy who was supposed to be the man. You know what I'm saying? The guy that had these people up here talking more about his opponent than they were him. I think that was one of the causes too that might have affected Errol Spence mentally. That he was out here listening to so many of his supposedly fans talking about Bud Crawford. He probably had like a stint of depression where he just said to himself, man, they're not really talking about me. Just like Andrew said. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even give this man credit on how much heart that he displayed by getting up after all those knockdowns. They didn't even give him credit, man. They were still talking about freaking Crawford, man. They didn't even say, first of all, we still with you, champ. I know we was busy talking about Crawford the entire time that we were supposed to have been talking about you, but we still here for you, man. We just want to let you know, man, when it comes to courage, heart, you know what I'm saying, durability, we got to give you that, champ. You kept getting up. You kept getting up. Even though you was losing the fight terribly, you kept getting up. We didn't hear none of that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, Andrew made a damn good point. I ain't going to lie, Andrew. You made a good point, man. They didn't even recognize and give Errol Spence credit for kept on getting up, rising. You know what I'm saying? Rising to the occasion to fight on, even though he was losing. He was battling embarrassment. You know what I'm saying? He was battling freaking being outperformed, outworked. He was battling a lot of demons in that ring, and he kept getting up, man. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. He kept getting up. But one thing I knew Errol Spence wish I would have did when I was in Beverly Hills, he wished I would have asked him a question. I said, no. I peeped that from a distance. That's why when you stay true to code, you don't have to worry about shit like that. You don't have to worry about it. Let me get to the chat right quick. I'm pretty sure people have some very nice things to say. Bud B. Errol so bad. Showtime quit boxing. PBC looking for a new partner and content creators leaving now. If that don't get you fight of the year, then I don't know what does. True words, man. Facts in the chat, shawty. You know what I'm saying? Facts in the chat. What's going on, Jessica? How you feeling? Salute. Appreciate you pulling up. Big Blunts and Boxing on deck. What's good with it? Shout out to Tank, man. Abdul Wahid. I think I'm pronouncing his conversion to Islam. Shout out to him. But he's definitely not fight of the year. Off Hector Garcia and Ryan Garcia. Stop it. Come on now, stop it. I don't want to turn this into a comedy show, but stop it. The fight of the year clearly is the man that's dressed in the blazer. You know what I'm saying? The man that you see in the thumbnail. That's clearly the numero uno, the only nominee that should get fight of the year. I rock with Tank heavy. But Hector Garcia, moving up from 130 to 135 for his first fight, no, I don't cut it. Ryan Garcia, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Duck Masters Coalition, pound for pound, goes in there, gets a shot, man. Come on now. We're not talking about social media. You know, we're not talking about how much it grossed. I mean, come on. Who thought Ryan was going in there? We're talking about, did you believe that Errol Spence could go in there and beat Bud? Yes, it was a percentage of people that believe he was not only equal, but he was greater than Bud Crawford. Was it some people that believe Crawford was equal or greater than, to Errol Spence? Yes, that was a amount of people that believe that shit. You have to have that. Nobody believed that Ryan Garcia was equal to Gervonta Davis. No one thought that. They just knew he had social media followers. Man, nobody thought that. You want to tell me they thought that, you know, based off Javier Fortuna? Come on, man. Javier came in there out of shape, deconditioned, and man, he laid down, bro. He laid down like a fresh piece of bologna. Regardless if it's his old name or new name, until he gets in the ring, then that's irrelevant. But it's good he found religion for personally. Yeah, for sure. Abdul Tank Wahid. For sure, no doubt. And that's good, you know. It's always good. Positivity. You know, keep the cup full. You know what I'm saying? Keep the cup full. Real talk. When Abdul knocks out Haney, everybody's gonna say, "I knew he would win." They're gonna say that, because when it comes down to what I just said, do they believe Tank is equal to greater than Haney? Yes. Do people believe that Haney is equal to greater than Gervonta? Yes. It's a group of people from both sides believing that. More so, you know, based off his fights, the Aussie double, Lomachenko, and Regis Prograis. And then they talk about the amount of champions that he's faced. You know what I'm saying? The amount of champions that he's faced. Since, the JoJo Diaz and all that on up, which, when you're talking about championship belts and all that stuff, yeah, you got to talk about the quality opposition. You have to talk about, does it really matter when you're doing pay-per-view numbers? Back to the theme in hand, though. Shout out to Andrew Charles. Salute. What's good? I just want to keep this fresh in people's mind. I don't want you to walk around here like you punch drunk and you trying to figure out what I'm talking about. I want to keep on reminding people that there's no second in this. It's no co. You know what I'm saying? There's no co-opt in this award. It's no co-op. If you're going to give the award correctly, fairly, honestly. You don't give no co-op. It's no co-op because both of them did it in the same calendar year. It's no co-op. It's no co-op. Don't think it's not a possibility they'll try to pull something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just to basically devalue Terence Crawford full credibility for being able to get that award by himself, solo dolo. It's simple, bro. For real. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be on the cover by himself for Fight of the Year. No doubt about it. If I must remind you what the champ said, I'm the only fighter. Let me take that down with Andrew right quick. He said, I'm the only fighter to be the top 5 pound for pound fighter this year. And the way I beat him was unmatched. 2023 Fighter of the Year is me. Some might say, but I only fought one time. But that one was bigger than any of the others. Hashtag facts. That is profound, prolific in what the champ said. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You can't deny that he made absolutely, from the first character to the last character, sense. Not just logical sense, but overwhelming sense, man. Based on everything that led up to this grand finale on July 29th and how it played out. It makes all the sense in the world, bro. MD Mills, what's good? I haven't seen you in a minute. Hope all is well with you, bro. The skill gap between the guys at 147 and 122 is huge. Inoue has been even had to engage in a lead hand battle, foot position battle. They aren't using controls, pins, or frames, really. Appreciate that educated breakdown. You know what I'm saying? I believe if Inoue was any closer to Crawford to prove, who's the best, unfortunately, that's not the case because he's at 122. And, people keep on trying to throw that paper plane of him facing Abdul. And you know what? Abdul's response was he in too light of a weight class for me. If Inoue was trying to come up here and face Tank, he would get destroyed. Period. I don't care how much muscle he can join the snack program and he'll still get destroyed. You know what I'm saying? And remember, WCS just notarized that. And then I only wish that he was close in the vision of Crawford, because that fight wouldn't even be close. He'll stop Inoue. He would stop Inoue. Real talk. He would stop that guy. It wouldn't be no battle, this, that. It wouldn't be no Stephen Fulton, none of that shit. Y'all gonna be happy when Crawford finally retire, because now you feel it's a level playing field. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a level playing field right now, because for him to be the age he is, these guys ain't calling him out. You know what I'm saying? You would hear him mention, you would hear them hint. That's what you call elite bluffing. That's what you call elite bluffing. Guys that's supposed to be on Crawford's level, but they're bluffing like they want to fight him. That's called elite bluffing. They act like they want to fight the man. They done made a little subtle gestures, but they don't really want to fight him. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else that was that old, if they looked just a little bit worse, like I said, Crawford made it look too easy. If he just would have made it look like Regis Prograis did and getting knocked down, you know what I'm saying? If he looked like he was declining, then maybe, just maybe, these guys will feel comfortable saying, okay, it's time. Okay, it's time. I'm ready to give up my O, but I'm pretty sure I can go in there and get it done. He's old. He don't have his legs no more. See, they waiting for a lot of things to start showing themselves. You know what I'm saying? They're looking for the grand reveal with Crawford, and they haven't got it yet. That's why they won't call him out. Any other fighter, the age of Terence Crawford, they will be calling him out for those titles and knowing they about to get a big payday. But none of these cats are calling him out. All we can hope for is when 2024 comes, right? We get some news that we wasn't expecting. If we get the news that him and Errol Spence ain't fighting, I don't think anyone is going to jump up except the Errol Spence fans. You know what I'm saying? And the Crawford supporters, we're looking at it like, okay, cool. What's next? Is it going to be Canelo? Because I really want to see that. I'm putting money on freaking Crawford, hands down. I want to see that fight. Cause listen, people want to always talk about, it's 3 divisions, it's too much and all that. Man, hypocrisy never goes away, man. That fight get announced 2024, it would be the biggest fight of that year. Real talk. It'll be the biggest fight of that year. Period. People gonna say, WCS, what the hell you talking about? That's why I don't even like jumping in your chat, man. I don't even like showing that I'm a viewer. I don't even want your numbers to go up because Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury fighting. Listen to me. After Tyson Fury went in there and got knocked down by a 0-0 fighter, even Floyd Mayweather didn't go through that. When Conor McGregor stepped in there, when Tyson Fury goes in there and get knocked down in the 3rd round by Francis Ngannou, you think him and Alexander Usyk is bigger than Crawford Canelo? Stop it. Stop it, man. Come on, stop it. No. Come on now. Pay attention, it's free. Stop it, man. That's not the biggest fight, man. You know what I'm saying? That's not the biggest fight. These people want the fight of the decade, and Bud gave you a Picasso painting that will forever be in their memories, but want to give it to Inoue, who they will forget who he beat by next year. Somebody speaking some facts. They speaking some facts because I agree. They won't remember who he beat. They won't remember no Topalis, man. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? See, Inoue has been one of those fighters that's been up there on the pound for pound list, and they've been wanting to give him a moment like this. For real, they've been wanting to give him a moment like this. See, if Lomachenko would have beat Devin Haney, hands down, point blank, period, they would have put Lomachenko right beside Crawford. Yeah. Because Lomachenko haven't became undisputed yet. So he would have became undisputed for the first time, and they would have put him on the magazine co-op with Crawford. I guarantee you. But he couldn't get it done. Now they got to go to the next one. Because Lomachenko been loitering. He's been loitering. He's been mongering on the damn ring pound for pound. And I'm like, why? He don't have any belts. He's just been hanging out. But for Inoue's always been up there top 3 for a minute. They've been waiting for a moment like this. All I can say, the one that's supposed to get the award, solo dolo, no co-op, 2-2. You know what I'm saying? That's not the mathematics we're using for this one. We're not. Well, if you look at it, 2 + 2. What are you talking about? 2 plus. See, Crawford, he got 2. 2 what? 2 times he's been undisputed. Okay, we're doing numbers. Numbers don't lie, man. Come on, be fair. So what we talking about Inoue? Same as Crawford, 2 times. And we can argue that he did it what, quicker? Yeah, how did you know? Because I know you was gonna come for that bullshit. That's all. That's all I'm saying. We're not gonna go back to him being the third man in the four belt era, to become undisputed when none of these other guys was around. You know what I'm saying? You only had Taylor and Hop. That's it. You know what I'm saying? To be the first to sit up here and get that recognition at 140, to be the first to get that recognition two-time in the four-belt era and get that recognition in 147. You know what I'm saying? It goes without saying. Nobody's really talking about the bantamweight division and the super bantamweight division. Like Casanova just mentioned, nobody's going to be talking about his opponent that he just beat a year from now, but they'll still be talking about Crawford Spence. You know why? Because WCS will continue to rub that vapor right in their eyelids so they can stop it. It's been a year. You know I'm gonna be on that year anniversary. I'm gonna be right here reminding the pro Spence fans on how they failed him. You know what I'm saying? But right now, it's all about Bud Crawford, the Omaha Monster. We'll get back to that next year. You know what I'm saying? When that year anniversary come up, definitely. A year in review. That's what my goddamn, a year in review. Let's revisit the T-Mobile massacre. Let's revisit the T-Mobile massacre. Even Jose Benavidez made Bud have to engage in a battle for lead hand dominance and foot position. That's why for stretches of the fight, Bud was looking for ways to enter without getting countered. And consistency paid off. You know what I'm saying? Ring IQ too. But consistency paid off for Bud in that fight to go into the 12th round and still get the stoppage with an uppercut. Consistency played out. Consistency. Real talk. Great point. Arrow has one of the most advanced inside games in all of boxing. Kell Brook and Bud had a nice fencing contest in their fight as well. That skill ain't none of that at 122 right now, for sure. But I will say this. Kell Brook, he did have some success until Crawford turned southpaw at the end of the third round. Once he switched to southpaw near the end of the third, and he stopped taking that jab, and when he came out into the fourth, history is what it is. We don't need to revisit it because it only reminds them of how special Crawford was to make that adjustment. You see fighters in here fighting the same fight the same way, and then say, I just couldn't do anything. I just couldn't do anything. I never heard that coming from Crawford. Everybody they in fault. Look at big ass Jeff Horn. They don't even want to recognize Manny Pacquiao, who lost to Jeff Horn, and say, oh, the only reason he won because it was in Australia. But they're gonna say he was old and shit. But the same Manny Pacquiao was able to come in here and beat Keith Thurman fights later. They don't want to give Bud the credit of fighting a fighter that beat Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna say he's nothing. So if Jeff Horn's nothing, what about the fighters that's on freaking Inoue's record? Come on, do they have a Pacquiao? I just need to know. I just need to know, man. 8 division? Crazy, man. Yeah, he walking through them, man, because they're not on his level. For sure. D-Ray, what's good? What's good? EJ advanced inside game. Put your head down and start punching dude's body. Very complex and advanced skills there. Bud is advanced skills. EJ body work is basic, straight up brawling. EJ did have an inside game. To say it was advanced, according to who he was fighting. But with the success he had with the names that's considered big names, it was okay. You know what I'm saying? I think we really can't grade that for Lamont Peterson because they was just throwing. It was very technical. But they was throwing bombs at the end of the day. When he knocked down Lamont Peterson in the 5th round, Lamont still went. Couple more rounds, man. You know what I'm saying? Like he sat him on his ass and he still got up. And see, the one thing about it, if Lamont landed a shot on Spence, all he wanted to do is get the get back. That's all. I can't say Crawford don't do, that sometimes, but I think it's much more calculated when he does it. When he gets his get back, he get it in a way that is extremely effective. It's not wild and reckless. EJ and Advance don't go together, and their skills, Inoue level, their skills in all division. Look, one thing I can say about Spence is that he can, he love fighting on the inside. So once he's on the inside, he can punish you. If you that fighter, he can punish you, bro. I'm not gonna lie. So, but I have to understand where Casanova is coming from and some other people. I also understand where MD coming from. Like Spence was known to be a lineal fighter, and he goes straight on the straight up in your personal space, and he'll fight you on the inside. And he just wasn't well in the way for headshots. He will dig to the body. He did. You know what I'm saying? And he had much success, against the Danny Garcias and the freaking Yordenis Ugas. Yeah. He tried to do that, that same routine with Mikey Garcia, but due to Mikey Garcia's high guard, he didn't have too much success. I know he wanted to finish Mikey, but no, it just didn't happen. So that's when Casanova comes in with he wasn't too advanced, because truth be told, if you would have just, backed up a little bit and worked your jab and kind of got him used to the jab, kind of hooked around the guard or something like that, instead of getting on the inside, really trying to break him down with power. Maybe you could have maybe he could have, dropped those hands a little bit, because Mikey's body, like I always said, looked like a tater tot. Real talk. He didn't really have no abs or nothing in that fight. When you steadily trying to break him down just because you want to impress the crowd in Texas, hey, that just goes to show your boxing IQ is not as advanced that it should be, because maybe you should have just switched up the game plan a little bit, and went to that educated jab people brag about that Spence has. Appreciate it, OG. Skill for skill, Bud is levels above Inoue. I totally agree with that. I don't think Bud will retire soon. He's going to keep going until he loses his O, if he ever does. I just wonder at this point, is Bud willing to stay at 147 for 1 or 2 more fights? Because he said he did struggle to make weight. People were making a big deal. You get the same people who always wait to these big fights, and then they want to say, oh, so-and-so missed weight. And I'm like, if it's not the official weigh-in, why do y'all matter who they miss weight? You know what I'm saying? What does it matter? Who cares? They want to come up here and talk about, so-and-so missed weight. Who cares? They did a test weight, and so-and-so missed weight. It don't matter. It matters when they have the official weigh-in. What's going on? Samar Warren on deck, man. Peace and blessings below. Salute WCS Certified. Snap the like button and support the grind. Appreciate you, man. No doubt. You know what I'm saying? Happy holidays to you. Why are we even talking about Inoue versus Tank? Inoue is a 3 weight division below. That goes to tell you how great Inoue is if we are fantasizing about Inoue versus Tank or even Crawford. That's absurd. I don't know if there's people that's fantasizing about this fight. Once again, they want to always take advantage. Like Tank is, out of sight, out of mind until the news broke and the video surfaced that, he was converting to Islam, right? So he was just chilling as he always do in between fights. I mean, he hasn't been in the news like he usually is in between fights, which is a telltale sign that, on a positive note, he's making changes in his direction. Okay. For Inoue, they just want to keep his name relevant as if he's this real monster for real. You know what I'm saying? People are trying to assume that Inoue is Godzilla, not knowing Godzilla, the guy that was actually in the suit, dude was like 5'7". You know what I'm saying? I mean, they think Inoue is like freaking the monster Godzilla and shit. But the dude who used to, play the role, man, is a short motherfucker. I'm just saying, dog. I'm just saying, man. They did real nice with the goddamn movie scene and all that. But let's stop thinking. Let's stop and remove that from our thought process that Inoue is gonna come up here and get knocked out by Tank. And Tank is not freaking moving down the division. And you know what I'm saying? If Inoue want to come all the way up here to 135, you know what I'm saying? They'll be praising the shit out of Inoue. But if Crawford want to move up that many divisions, they criticize, oh man, that's just terrible. That's terrible. His team, oh man, that's terrible decision making. Inoue do it, yeah, he's challenging himself. What they gonna say? He's daring to be greater. Wow, he's coming up to fight Tank. Unbelievable. But Crawford, man, leave Crawford out your conversation. I don't want to talk about him. You pissing me off, goddammit. Don't talk about him. For real, man. They get all agitated. They blow their lid when you mention Crawford trying to fight Canelo. He's non-deserving. He's non-deserving. Point blank, period. Non-deserving. But he fought Spence. Oh, man, come on. He's a shell of himself. He's a shell of himself. After the accident, man, all that goddamn recreation, liberty, and all that damn, drinking and all that shit he had going on, man, he's a shell of himself. All Crawford did was fight Humpty Dumpty that already fell off the wall. Okay? I was like, damn, you don't want to give him no credit? The fact that Bud wanted to go up to 168 and fight Canelo tell me he don't care about his O. He is looking for a challenge. That's why I don't think Bud will be satisfied retiring undefeated. That's a good point. Shout out to Casanova. That's a good point. I know for a fact nobody's ever said that over here. That's a good point. Seriously, that's a good point right there. I never really mentioned his O because for me, I don't stop supporting the fighter just because they don't have an O. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just leave that fighter all to be damned. But look, 3 of the fighters that I support heavy has lost their O. You know what I'm saying? Jahad Teofimo Lopez lost his O. Deontay Wilder lost his O. You know what I'm saying? But I don't go around saying, well, that fighter's going to lose their O. But you do make a significant point. This man is all about challenging himself and moving up. And I'm looking at it like, hey, that's supposed to be a good thing, but all these people was up here crying and bitching as if he was doing something wrong. But yet, when Errol Spence was calling out Canelo instead of Crawford, he said, well, why not? Why not? He deserves it. He's the man right now. He putting butts in the seat. Okay, every time you see Spence, he's lifting. He carrying those belts. Did you see the veins? Did you see the veins, the vascularity in his arm? He's doing all the heavy lifting. They was praising Spence for that shit. Then go up there and fight Canelo. Go ahead, fight. Go ahead. Do what you got to do. I hope he gets that fight. You know what I'm saying? That's what they were saying. They was rooting Spence on. But goddamn it, after Crawford beat Spence, and he had already called out Jermell Charlo and Canelo Alvarez, and we already seeing, Jermell Charlo was showing us just like the audio proves. Just like the audio prove. Then he said, hey, it's weight divisions for a reason, but yet he still, put out his desires to face Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? That's what he wanted to do. And it was too many people that consider themselves boxing fanatics. You was out here complaining. I swear to God. I swear to you, they was out here complaining. They was fixated on the hate. Real talk, they was fixated on the hate, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I just want to know how to remotely remove that gland, that hater gland that they have in there. You know what I'm saying? Their brain housing group. I got all I need is goddamn just to get a scalpel and just sever that hater gland. You know what I'm saying? And look, and don't even freaking stitch it up. Just leave it open so it can all just get all the hate out and drip that, just get all the hate out. You know what I'm saying? That's all I want to do. You got to snatch that hater gland out of there. Norman has been using squatters' right on the pound-for-pound list for the last 2 years. That's factual. How can you be on the pound-for-pound list, man, with no titles? How can you be hanging out since Teofimo Lopez defeated you? How could you be hanging out on the pound-for-pound list? You know what I'm saying? You still don't have no titles. You know what I'm saying? Granted, he had to go and serve. But, dude, you still didn't get it done against Devin Haney, man. And they still got this man hanging out over there. I guarantee you, man, there's somebody in his family that's on the board. Somebody in his family, bro. They're going to do Bud just like they did the last time when he won Undisputed. They give Fight of the Year to Loma. And now they're trying to give it to Inoue. Hey, the OG, it seemed like you own something. You know what I'm saying? I just know it may be exactly what you said. Because I hear a lot of people just talking. They want to talk about, how quickly he did it. You know what I'm saying? They want to say, this is how quick he did. This is how quick he did Undisputed. This is how fast he did it. It's been several years since Bud won Undisputed at 140. They're going to try to freaking boast about who he beat to become Undisputed bantamweight. And then, if you look at it, they're going to say, well, Inoue, time he won bantamweight Undisputed, he vacated and moved up and fought the unified champion. Well, Crawford vacated his titles from Julius Ndongo, moved up and fought Jeff Horn. But he only had one title, though, WCS. Come on. Keep it real, WCS. Stop lying during the holidays. Yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying? But when we talk about, resume, you know what I'm saying? We can just look at the the legend himself, Manny Pac, and we can, put it right there. He had a Pacquiao on his resume. Above all else, that supersedes anything you want to debate about. Well, who's Jeff Horn? Nobody knew him. Okay. All right, man. He was on the same journey as Inoue. It's just, Jeff Horn had one title, and then the machine was pretty much using preventative measures for Terence Crawford to go in there and collect those titles. They want the man to get discouraged with paying him below, what a slave would get for that magnitude of fight. They wanted to pay that man in dead leaves and convince him, hey, that's money right there. It's the same as money. No, it's falling apart. It's crumbling in my hand. That's what money does when it gets old. That's old money. Old money, new money. Come on now. It's still worth it. All you got to do is take it to the bank, man. They'll put it together for real. So we gave you a briefcase of dead leaves, and they worth just about what your purse would be. And just take it to the bank. They'll count it up for you and goddamn deposit that shit into your account if it's worth anything. Okay? It's been good doing business with you. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we're going to pay you. They wanted that man to fight for crumbs. You know what I'm saying? They wanted that man to fight for crumbs, not any crumbs. We're talking about stale crumbs. Stale crumbs, not just fresh crumbs that somebody just finished a nice meal. They talking about old, stale, hard, rubbery They didn't want that man to be satisfied mentally going in there fighting Spence. They just wanted him to be mentally, broken down and stressed out, because the money that he was fighting for a fight like this, it wasn't even worth it. And then, once again, being intelligent, he walked away from negotiation, showing that he's not just a fighter, where they say lace up and box. He's much more of an intelligent human being. And he walked away from a despicable, distasteful, negotiation from the machine that was trying to pay him freaking crumbs. They didn't want that man to go in there and feel happy about what he was making. I think that's one of the best moves we've seen. He walked away, got paid for Avenesia, and came back and got paid for destroying Spence. If that's not the best move, hey, that should give him freaking Fight of the Year too. They should combine 22 with 23. You know what I'm saying? What led up to this? They should give him like an epilogue, freaking whole standing ovation. Like, hey, I like what you did, man. You walked away first time, came back to it like you said, gave him a call up in January, and you all got together, talked it out. Plus, that $1 million, we got to understand that Spence limped in with $100 grand, but you said let's bet $1 million. So we know 900 more grand to that 100 grand that Spence sit up there and try to bet. We didn't forget. You upped it. You raised the shit out of him, and you taught him how to be a poker player. He never showed up to the table again. After July 29th, you raised him, and he said, you know what? I'm just going to give you the motherfucking concession right now, because I know you're going to beat the shit out of me. I'm going to give you the concession. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to go ahead and do it because, truth be told, man, I know you're going to beat my ass. I know it, man. I'm still like 8 pounds off. That's why I'm about to run up Mount Charleston. I'm 8 pounds off, dog. You know what I'm saying? Victor Conte was just over there talking about, going on a run like that up a hill before a fight can do to your body. And he was right. He was right, man. Because Inoue is the new media darling. Bob Arum is itching to call him the greatest since Ali. If Ali would be fighting in those lower divisions, cool. But I've tried my best to go on YouTube and retrieve the long lost film study of Ali fighting at those lower weight classes. And you know what? I got a headache before I actually found one video that I can bring up and I can share screen that Ali was down there in the bantamweight division. I haven't been able to do it. I'm just saying I haven't been able to do it, y'all. And I send you my deepest regrets and apologies. I haven't been able to find that video. So when they sit up here and want to compare these cats to Ali, then once again, it proves my point in going back to Deontay Wilder. If he's tied with Ali for title defenses, well, guess what? You got to recognize him for that. Just like Bud. Why don't anyone compare Bud to Ali? You know what I'm saying? People have questions about Ali's resume, but then you throw in the names, the big names that he fought, and that all goes away. Nobody talks about him having 2 losses out the door. They just talk about him being sick then. He wasn't in his right frame of mind. Spence, all he does, he even says so himself, he goes in there stepping. Nothing advanced about it. He bites down and beats you down, and many couldn't handle it. But because he had and also what we know about, the situation with Errol Spence is that simply he's hard-headed. The reason why I say he's hard-headed, y'all remember in the presser where he said he's been getting out of pocket his whole life? He embraces getting out of pocket his entire life. So when you weigh in on those life-changing events that happen to him outside the ring, you also have to blend it with he embraces being out of pocket his whole life. He was bragging about it. His supporters was bragging about it. They thought They thought that Errol Spence getting out of pocket would be enough for him to go in there and say, well, I showed y'all that being out of pocket, this what you get. I went in there and won the fight because I don't care. I go in there and fight, just like I do, getting out of pocket whenever, however, on site. That's what I get down. I don't. Hey, if it ain't broke, I ain't gonna try to fix it. People say I'm one-dimensional. Because guess what? I won tonight, one-dimensional. It didn't work. It didn't work with people who've been studying you for a long period of time. It didn't work for the ones that has the patience to treat this as if you're the most dangerous opposition that they ever face. That separates the good from the great. And we seen that with Team Crawford. We even seen it in the presser. You know what I'm saying? How dare Bud say he's going to take off his belt? And when he said that to Spence, man, that shit irritated the hell out of Spence. He said, ain't your little kid? You going to take your belt off, please. He was so used to just being that dude like, hey, so many people respect me for my fighting style, bro. I don't sit back on the ropes. I come forward. I'm in your face. I break you down. That's what he embraced. But when you go in there against a student who's been studying the curriculum, we get what we got July 29th. That's all. We get what we got. July 29th, hey, that's what we get. I'm going to give Spence his due. His inside game is skillful. Crawford just had more skill and ability to do both outside and inside. Spence's outside game is weak. Well, like they said prior to MD, they were saying that, either inside or out. They was giving him credit for inside or out. They didn't care. They said he had the best jab in boxing. And you look, when I heard the debate, when I heard this lingering over and over again, like a goddamn old fart, they say, how is Bud Crawford going to get past the jab? He's small. How he going to get past? This might be the same with Devin Haney, Kambosos one. How he going to get past Errol Spence jab? Man, come on, man. This fight is over, man. Crawford ain't going to be able to get past Errol Spence jab. He got the best jab in boxing. They was saying that shit with conviction, bro. They was saying it with conviction. Look what he fucking up and collected the eye. And then what did Spence do? He went and got mouthpieces made with an eye on it and a fish. He believed it. Something just wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Because me, competitively, I assess my competition and if they was at a level, you know what I'm saying, when I was running hurdles, if they was on a level where I can say, okay, I did something better than what I thought because of them. Because they're on a level that is considered respectful, at the top tier. Vice somebody that I'm leaving behind. You know what I'm saying? When I was running 330 hurdles, and people say, hey, man, you can run faster than that. Well, I'm saying to myself, I'm already so far ahead of them. Why? But, it was a learning experience, man. It's a learning experience. Real talk, People thought that Errol Spence was good on the outside and the inside. He could do it. Look, it was no discrepancies that could be placed out here heading into that fight about Spence. The only time that you heard them supposedly giving credit to Spence is when they was talking about what Crawford couldn't do. Am I right or wrong? That's the only time you really heard them talking about, trying to credit Spence. They would never really just say what Andrew mentioned, that give Spence his credit for doing that fight. They was just always like talking about what Crawford couldn't do. You know what I'm saying? What was going to hurt Crawford? What's going to be his downfall? What he ain't good at? Being too small. If he fights Spence on the inside, Crawford's going to get knocked out. They didn't really say Spence going to push him back to the ropes. And when he does, man, he's pretty damn advanced on the inside. He's going to break Crawford down to the body. No, it was always what Crawford couldn't do. It just like they said that Sean Porter, if Crawford fought Sean Porter on the inside, potentially he may get knocked out. Why? Hey, drum roll, y'all. Come on now. I know some of you got drums for Christmas. Drum roll. They say if he fought Sean Porter on the inside, potentially he may get drum roll. They know you know who they brought up. You know who they brought up. They brought up goddamn Jokic Gamboa. Gamboa heard him. Oh, they talking about me again. I'm on the beach. Oh, what are they doing? Leave me alone. All I hear, you always mention my name. I'm on the beach chilling, man. I'm retired. Oh, I'm living a life. Can you give me another Kahlua, please? Yeah. They always bring up Gamboa, man. And then they might throw in Kavaliauskas, depending on how they feel. You know what I'm saying? They throw in Green Machine. That's all. An Olympian that he broke down. But all they talk about is when Crawford was hurt. And it's crazy how if you mesh the two scenarios together, it's pretty much somewhat the same because Gamboa did hurt Crawford. He admit to it. But Crawford stopped him after that. The commentary, Andre Ward, Timothy Bradley, and everybody else said, okay, yeah, this is what went on. It could have been a push. It could have been a knockdown, Igor Kavaliauskas. But he ended up breaking him down. You know what I'm saying? At a minute 33 in the third round, yeah, he did land a shot. And he had his hands on the back of Crawford's head. But at the end of the day, Crawford started to walk him down. He started to enforce his will, and he stopped him. And that man was undefeated, Shawty. That man was undefeated. I'm not downplaying. Sometimes that's all you need in boxing is the ability to brawl and overwhelm a guy with pressure to body. Every guy Spence fought succumbed to pressure, even if Spence is. Every guy Spence fought succumbed to pressure. Casanova, you're not correct on that because Mikey Garcia didn't succumb to the pressure. You know what I'm saying? Mikey Garcia didn't succumb to the pressure, bro. I'm just saying. That's one of the big names, 4-division champion. You know what I'm saying? Just moved up from 35 to 47. He didn't succumb to the pressure. He gave Mikey Garcia all the bit of pressure that you can ask for. Real talk. He didn't succumb to the pressure, man. Yeah, I agree. And I get what you're saying, Casanova. I mean, we can go to. I use this analogy all the time. Especially with my boy Vernon Forrest. We go back to Ricardo Mayorga. How can Vernon Forrest have problems with Mayorga? How? Mayorga barely had any skills. We talking about unorthodox. We talking about awkward, dysfunctional, erratic. This dude couldn't go a damn box. He was the epitome of what they criticized Crawford for. Like, this dude had real bad habits. But you take a fundamentally sound fighter like Vernon Forrest, and he had problems. You know what I'm saying? He had problems. It was wild. Vernon could beat Sugar Shane, but not Mayorga. That's wild. That's wild. Real talk. Spence has a nice frame game. He uses pins. He know how to get inside. Good jab. He just limit with his head movement. He just and feet. For someone like Bud, that's just like shooting fish in a barrel. I agree with that, man. Bud is very, very smart, and he does present you boxing IQ. Whether people want to recognize it and give him credit for it, I mean, what I'm saying, you have to think about it. Who's observing him? Is it casuals or hardcore boxing fans? If you're talking about hardcore boxing fans, they're gonna give him the credit. They're gonna speak the language that you're talking. They're gonna break it down. They're gonna be the boxing gems. You know what I'm saying? And how they analyze these fights. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna see what they see, and they're gonna say, okay, this is what I saw. This is what he does real good. And then you get the casual fans. They don't really recognize stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't really recognize. I wouldn't say Spence don't have no boxing IQ. Spence has boxing IQ, bro. But when you do the same combination sets all the time just to get in close to a fighter, sooner or later you get a fighter like Bud is going to touch you with that counter uppercut. I mean, it's just adjustments. Nobody say you have to fight the same plan throughout the entire fight. Nobody said it was mandatory. It's just he chose to do that. And Bud made him look like a D-level fighter that day. Bud Crawford made Errol Spence look like a D-level fighter, bro. A B-level fighter. He made Spence look like he was, when it came to boxing knowledge, he was impoverished, bro. I'm just being honest. It seemed like he was deprived. It seemed like he had just gotten out the hospital, you know, and he had a down, you know, a couple of months sickness, and he only had a certain period of time, just like they treated Kell Brook, had a certain period of time to get back in the gym. It just seemed like his memory was gone. You know what I'm saying? Nothing he was thinking about could take the momentum or basically flow with the momentum, be competitive with the momentum. It was nothing he can do in there with Bud. And the only reason the first round was the way it was is because pretty much, you know, both fighters were filling each other out. That's it. You know what I'm saying? A common format that we see in boxing. Spence just jabbed that fight and stayed back. He didn't use pressure because he knew Mikey had skills to counter. He fought conservative that fight. Yeah. I mean, I was just putting it out there that, you know, when you said, you know, the fighters succumb, you know, Mikey Garcia played it smart. You know, he kind of gave us the high guard. But listen, not everybody that can rock with the high guard. Some fighters don't know how to use the high guard without being broken down easily because, you know, you have to think about, you know, fighters hooking around the high guard or shooting the uppercut at 12 o'clock, you know, sending it up the middle or hooking you to the body and then coming up the middle with the uppercut. I mean, it's just so many combinations to kind of bring that guard down and open it up. You know, some cats just jab straight up the middle of the guard. So just because you got your hands up and put them earmuffs doesn't mean it's going to be effective enough to the point where you got a puncher like Spence that's known to hook you to the body and be, you know, successful with breaking you down. You know what I'm saying? Really punishing to the body. But Mikey Garcia wasn't the average fighter, man. Mikey Garcia was the truth. You know what I'm saying? I think with Mikey Garcia, there's a point in that fight where he was getting touched up. And I know Robert was like, hey, we're going to stop the fight. We're going to stop the fight. When it comes to the Mexican, the honor, you know what I'm saying, the pride, I think that was just something for the cameras. I don't know, man. Like, I don't think they really wanted to put that on Mikey Garcia's jacket, that Errol Spence stopped him. If he's gonna take a loss, pride pretty much is when you're able to survive and go the distance. If you come to a point where you can't become victorious, you know, Mikey probably figured that out. Oh, I can't beat this guy, but I don't want him to stop me either. And he didn't stop him, bro. Appreciate that, man. Bud trained for that fight like he believed every word of what Spence said he was. Damn. You ain't never lied on that, Denny. How can you be at a level like that and believe every word that your opponent said, knowing how good you are, how great you are? That's crazy. That's mental strength right there. Because they train like Errol Spence was that guy. For real. The way Bo Mack and Red Spike and Esau and, you know, whole team Crawford came up there and trained for that fight, it's like they believe everything that they was up there saying. Oh, I'm going to beat you like Kunta. I'm going to break you like Kunta. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like, they actually believed that he was going to do it, and they had to go to training camp and treat it like that. So when the shit started playing out for us in reality, we were saying to ourselves, it's no way, man. It's no way that we watching this fight play out like this. This is unbelievable, man. He's making this shit look too easy. How? You know what I'm saying? How? You had boxing channels, their service was malfunctioning and shit. They're calling up the webmaster. Excuse me, sir. I know it's late, but I just want to know if it's a glitch in this fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm streaming it anyway, but is this a glitch? Is this like some photo? I want to know if somebody's editing this. There's no way it can be going on like this. Yes, sir. You're watching in real time. Everything on my end looks great. I sent you a ping and the response was received. Everything looked good. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's no lag in this. You know what I'm saying? It's really nobody hacked it or anything. They couldn't believe what they was watching. It was phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie, it's phenomenal, bro. But that's a great point, man. Bud trained for that fight like he believed every word of what Spence said he was. Oh, that stings, bro. Damn. Shit like that, man. That shit sting, bro. Because, you know, it has a lot of facts to it. And, you know, it's validated. All you gotta do is look at the film. He actually went in there and believed, yeah. Damn, we trained like he was actually that dude. And in reality, Bud was that dude. He knew he was that dude. All I see is Spence take a bunch of shots to get inside and start pressuring the other guy. That's why Ugas rocked EJ, because EJ just kept coming forward through Ugas punches. Yeah, man, true words. But check this out, Casanova. Like when you look back at it, you know, when you saw that, I don't know if you seen it while it was going on, but when I watched it, I looked at it as if that's something he's not going to be able to change going in the fight with Crawford. You know what I'm saying? When I'm watching that play out, I say, okay, he's doing the same thing he usually do. He take a punch and then he want to come forward and get it back. You know what I'm saying? And Ugas was landing some really good shots until the mouthpiece came out and you know, Lawrence Cole said, stop. And after he said stop, it was weird because Ugas stopped motherfucking being dominant. You know what I'm saying? He stopped being forceful with what he was having success with. Seriously, man. And that's when his shit started swelling up, man. He started getting beat up. Even though he didn't want to stop. But come on, man. Like I tell people about Lawrence Cole. Go back to the Soto fight on the Alvarez Billy Joe Saunders undercard. They wanted to hurry up and get to the main event. Out of nowhere, Lawrence Cole stops the fight. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Crawford broke that Spence jab down like a hot knife through butter. He did, man. He did. I think it was more like a blowtorch, the brother. Real talk. It was a blowtorch to that bitch. He didn't even have to goddamn. It was bad. It was bad, dog. It was bad. Shout out, Christopher. What's good? Al Money, what's good? If Gamboa had a dime for every time they bring him up, he'll be a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he'll be a billionaire just based off the residuals that he get off the YTC. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what if they pay him back pay, right? They compensate him back pay. They retro back to when this initial debate began, bro. When they actually start building up the rivalry between Spence and Crawford. Man, Gamboa would be on a yacht. He would be on a yacht chilling. Hey, man, I didn't get paid that much, but they keep mentioning my name. I get residuals. I get royalties. Mucho dinero, amigo. I get royalties. Gamboa be like, please, say my name. Say my name. Say my name. Say my name. Shit. That's hilarious, man. That dude would be rich as hell out there on that yacht. I know I can't call it, man. I can't call it. Every time I get a check, somebody's on the YTC just keeps saying, hey, Gamboa, he hurt Crawford. He hurt Crawford. I want to call Crawford up. I don't have his number. I want to say thank you, man. Thank you for giving me that opportunity in Omaha. Thank you so very much. I just got another check, man. I got so many sports cars and boats, man. I don't know what to do with it. I laugh every time Aerosexual say, Bud trained for Spence fight for 5 years. Like Bud just trained for Spence and didn't fight at all these past 5 years. This Spence also have 5 years too. Man, these cats say some weird things, bro. Real talk, they say some weird things. They don't care. Look, it got so bad that they couldn't even pretty much find their way through the fog, man. They couldn't even find their way through it, man. They was just lost, walking around in circles. It was so foggy. They had that brain fog, man. They just kept on saying shit that didn't make any sense. It got so bad that, I submitted some paperwork for somebody to go over there and have an intervention with these pro Spence fans. I say, what is this I'm listening to? You trying to say Bud don't do what? He ain't gonna be able to do this. He ain't gonna be able to do that. Like you acting like he's just a softy. You acting like this dude is just a bum. And I heard some people say he was a bum. Like they was getting real crazy. And look, I would expect somebody to hold me accountable too. If somebody was in my chat saying some crazy stuff about what Spence couldn't do, like just say, they say he couldn't really box at all. And I say, it depends on what you mean by boxing, but clearly Spence can box. Clearly he can box. Clearly he has a jab, an effective jab, a proficient jab. Clearly he can. But if I was up here agreeing with you saying, no, he can't do none of that. You're right. Then I hold you accountable for being a person that's also lacking knowledge too, man. You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to hold your people accountable for talking some dumb shit. And you know damn well that it's not true. But that goes on here a lot, man, on the YTC. Real talk. That goes on a lot. Real talk. But we getting closer and closer to the New Year's, right? And it's my due diligence is to continue to, get people prepared for 24. I don't know what the schedule's going to look like, but I see that certain people who say they have sources and want to support a promotion or whatever so heavy, they're not able to come up with a schedule or anything. You know what I'm saying? They're not even to be able to present you anything. We all lost, of this. But one thing I want to mention though, right, is that, I'm going to do a live on it, but TBV, the boxing voice, shout out to Ness and Danny. Well, Ness the one who basically led the charge. That's his shit. Anyway, he did mention, Jahad Tucker, man. And one thing that I appreciate him doing, and I've mentioned this before about him being one of the most entertaining fighters. Now, it's wild that people have criticism because Danny I believe Danny was saying that he was basically critiquing his style. And see, Danny's the same one that was up there with Amari Jones when Amari Jones said he wasn't impressed. I tell people, like, I may not come over here. I'm not trying to compete and be the best channel out here. This is not something that's going to be in my record jacket when I'm gone, when I get too old not to do this. You know what I'm saying? When my memory's not the best. You know what I'm saying? I may get on here and start saying some shit I usually know, and people say, damn, I remember you used to know this shit, bro. But I remember when Danny was somewhat hyping it up. When Amari Jones is in front of the camera, and I understand it's trash talk, and I get it. But then when the team tried to push for the fight and try to meet his energy and say, okay, if you wasn't impressed, go ahead and fight. And then it was NI, no impact, no idea. But it was good to hear Ness give him his flowers of being, saying he was an entertaining fighter. And when they was talking about prospect of the year, I felt that was long overdue because when he initially came on the scene, his flow of boxing, when dudes are unwilling to give a fighter their credit when they're going in there winning, and they're doing things like using defense. They're slipping and moving. They're using their footwork. They're using combinations, but yet they're criticized for not getting stoppages like a tank. You know what I'm saying? Still, it's boxing though. You know, one thing about Jahar, he does things that cannot be taught in the gym. He's innately gifted with his movement and fluidity that only he can be the proprietor of. And these last 3 fights he had, yeah, he took a loss. But you know, when you have fighters that take a loss and it's controversial and people look at it like, I just don't think he lost that fight. And then the ones that don't like him say, well, he clearly lost that fight. But when he went in there against Nico Seknashvili, and then he went in there against Francisco Varone, he was taking steps and steps and steps all the way up that ladder of competition that people have to understand with somebody with his amount of fights. And to go in there and put on that type of performance, who else is doing that right now like that? This is no knock on no fighters, though. It's no knock. But let's be honest, man. He fought a top 5 middleweight when he's contending that junior middleweight. And dude was tired. And this was a 10-round fight. This dude tried to go in there and knock Jahar out because they felt like Nico Seknashvili rather, because he did it in the first round. You know what I'm saying? You got to put all this together. They probably felt like Jahar can be hurt. I was there when he got hurt. Shaw News was there. We was right beside shooting when he got hurt. And the way he fought through that and started just putting on a brutish display of dog. You know what I'm saying? Gorilla time. You got to admire who he is, how much heart he got. You know what I'm saying? He got hurt, came back over to the corner. It wasn't no crazy panic or anything. You know what I'm saying? Jahar say, I want to feel his power, whatever. You know, and people laugh at it and say, well, he definitely felt his power. But guess what happened with the other 9 rounds, bro? Dude is a special talent. He's going to get his day. You know, but I'm going to tell y'all out there, you shouldn't feel any different about Jahar Tucker only because you don't like Shaw News. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't sit up here and say, I ain't fucking with that fighter because he's with Shaw News. I mean, that's just a fucked up way to look at it, because if you really follow the sport of boxing and you look what he was able to accomplish in 12 fights now, some fighters might have felt, discouraged and been out the sport for a long time after taking that first loss to a fighter that refused to get the rematch. Take the fighter that fought Nicholas Flash the first time and the Jahar that fought Francisco Varone, and it's bad. It's all bad for freaking Nicholas Flash. It's all bad because he fought totally different. But yet and still, to go into that fight and hear all the discouraging remarks of Timothy Bradley and everything like that, how he was basically counting Jahar out, and to hear, Ness give credit to Jahar, who's been on this show, several times before, right? And to basically give him credit for being an entertaining fighter. What do you want? Do you want fighters to go in there and have a tough time? I mean, you're talking about majority of all, if not all of his fights, it's been some type of shit that makes you say, oh, shit. Oh, wow. I mean, his videos are going viral and everything. It's not just going viral because he's talking to the camera. It's going viral because, the moments that he have in the fight, how he's slick. You know what I'm saying? He's very slick and crafty, clever fighter, bro. He's well trained. He's smart. His boxing IQ is higher than what people give him credit to. I'm just putting it out there. That's all I'm saying, man. I don't know the fight, but Inoue is moving up and going after the champions. When has fight of the year has to be active? Abdul, I'm about to school you. Yeah, I'm about to school you on something. How many times did Teofimo fight in 2020 when he got Fight of the Year? I'm all about educating people because they look at numbers and they feel like that has a direct connection to someone's thought process and how much knowledge they have. Let me help you out. Let me help you out, right? Let me help you out. Because I like when people are basically going against, the tweet that he put out and all that. But let me school you on something, right? I wouldn't say school you, but let me just enlighten you. I like to use very light, healthy words. You know what I'm saying? I don't want anybody to get offended. You understand? That's all. That's all. But I'm about to share screen right quick. Let me remove this. Shout out to the Fight of the Year, Terence Crawford. They need to go ahead and put you on that cover. But let me share screen right quick for Abdul and anybody else that want to talk about being inactive, okay? Because we just can't say, Bud Crawford is inactive because it sounds good to discredit the man. Are you looking at what I'm looking at? WCS, let him present this to you. You see this guy right here, Vasily Lomachenko? Teofimo Lopez didn't beat Richard Comey in 2020. He beat him December 2019. He did somehow beat Vasily Lomachenko. Yes, 116, 112, 119.09, 117.11. Yes, thoroughly dominated, right? And that was at the lightweight division. Now, if you look at the numbers, that was October 2020. And then he fought again. Listen, they talking about inactivity, November 2021. Okay? Any other questions, Abdul, when you talk about inactivity? Because Teofimo was on the cover, and he fought once during the pandemic. What? Excuse me? Was we still in the bubble era? Were we still in the bubble era? Teo fought Lomachenko. What was that again? I'm just curious. Teo fought Lomachenko in 2020. Do you see any other fights that year? Did Terence Bud Crawford just fight Errol Spence Jr. July 29th? And his last fight was December 10th, 2022? Is this not remnants of that? Because Richard Comey, Teofimo fought Richard Comey 4 days after Bud Crawford would have fought David Avanesian in 2022. December 14th fights December 10th. You know what I'm saying? So we really talking about inactivity? I thought so. You know what I'm saying? I thought so. Appreciate you pulling up though. I thought so. And next time, don't use too many emojis to get your expression across. You know what I'm saying? Use that hippocampus, medulla oblongata. You know what I'm saying? Just use all those components there to help. You know what I'm saying? When you come over here trying to talk about what everybody else is saying over there without knowing shit about boxing. Okay? All right? And look, and don't hesitate. I know. Don't hesitate. There go my cash app right there. Don't hesitate to donate to the channel if you see fit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I still give y'all the energy. But look, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, people know I know my boxing and stuff. But y'all, the way y'all support the channel, it don't have to be like you got to be monetized. Support this shit. You can support doing cash app too if you're really rocking with the channel. Real talk, because I could have been taking like weeks off at a time because my shit ain't monetized. I'm still coming here reading through the chat. You know what I'm saying? How much respect is that, bro? I'm still reading comments. There's a lot of cats that don't even freaking fuck with the comments unless you goddamn got a color to it. Unless you got a orange, a yellow, or a blue. You know what I'm saying? Kudos to them. Inoue is fighting mediocre competition. The skill level at 147 is way higher, 1 through 10, than 122. Hey man, you can't tell them fans that don't like Crawford. They're rooting for Inoue. You know what I'm saying? And don't come over here talking about that. You're not making any sense, bro. You're not making any sense because I proved to you something right away, and you just don't want to accept it. Your word was inactivity. Next, I'm a share screen and show you what the definition of inactivity means. You said he was inactive, but yet you come up here talking about it's all about 2023. Nah, we can't switch it up like that, shouty. That's not the way it works. You know what I'm saying? That's not the way it works. You just don't have the right to say, oh, I'm just going to change lanes, you know what I'm saying, with no blinker because goddamn it, you just threw a motherfucking egg on me. You know what I'm saying? I got to get the hell out the way. No, take another one. Take another egg. He had one fight in 2020. You up here talking about the same sequence of Bud Crawford having one fight in 2023. And people up here being extremely biased. But yet they don't want to go back to when Teofimo became undisputed. Undisputed. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Undisputed. Not many people can say that. But y'all been great, man, as always. Remember, Fight of the Year 2023, Terence Bud Crawford. Y'all need to go ahead and put him on that cover. And those race baiters out there, stop trying to make it about race. But, you know, at the end of the day, I done sent the letter up with an official seal on it. I already gave the only vote that matters. Whether they go along with it or not. But clearly, it only should be one person on there. It shouldn't be no two people because 2 + 2 = 2. No, we're not doing that, bro. We're not doing, how quick it was done or whatever. We're talking about this second one that put him in the history books. Prior to him going in there July 29th, people were saying that Inoue is going to be the first one to become 2-time undisputed. It was actually people that felt that Spence was going to be undisputed on July 29th. They did. But now that didn't happen. And Inoue comes up here and becomes undisputed. Okay, now they want to say, well, truth be told, he's won, he has championships in more divisions than Crawford. You know what I'm saying? He's a Japanese fighter. That's rare breed. The rare breed. He's the monster. We love him. You don't love him. You don't even know how to speak his language. If we was to drop off in Japan right now, you wouldn't know where to go. You'd be like, WCS, please don't leave me. No, I said I have to go. I have to go to some other places that I used to frequent, and I want to visit some old friends. I'll see you around, buddy. And by the way, just pay attention. Grab a little pamphlet, and they'll like the little small things to ask for time, and how much something is worth. Inkle deska. You know what I'm saying? Ask how much something is. You know what I'm saying? And they'll tell you. You know what I'm saying? And the numbers. Ichi ni san shi go roku hachi ku. You know what I'm saying? Just learn a little bit of Japanese and you will be okay. But you won't get it off me. Because y'all was up here saying, oh man, I love Inoue. Well, guess what? If you was over there in Japan, you'd be walking around in a circle like, how many other Americans around here? Could somebody help me out? WCS left me in the middle of nowhere. Hey, I'm getting ready for the night. Shit. I already know where to go. Shit. I try to tell him. Don't try to be my friend over here now. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see that shit. Hey, appreciate that, Jessica. Appreciate that. Hey, till next time, man, y'all hold it down. Big shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. Side official. Salute. I'm out.
Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss. Now you counting stars. Should've practiced more. Should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports. subscribe. Click the link, subscribe.